Welcome back. Hello, everyone. In the last session, you must have learned what is an array. So far in the C, you have seen what are the data types in C, how it is declared, how it is used, and what are the different type of statement like sequential statement, decision making, selection statement like if, else, switch, and looping statement for while, do while, nested loop, nested if. And in the last lectures, we discussed about an array. Now, today we will also see multidimensional array, means 2D array. By the end of this session, you would be able to understand what is 1D array, what is 2D array, how arrays pass into function, what is the meaning of pointer, what is the meaning of function, and what is the difference between call by value and call by reference. So in the last session, we discussed about an array. Now, what is an array? Arrays are, why do we need an array? Arrays are a group of similar data type elements. When we want to store more than one value of same data type in a single variable, we use array. So there are different types of array, one-dimensional, multidimensional. In multidimensional, we have 2D, 3D, and so on. So today we will study multidimensional array. Multidimensional is 2D array. What is 2D array? In 2D array, we store the data in the form of matrix or tabular manner. And matrix form or tabular manner means we store the data in the form of row and column. So you will see in today's session how 2D array are declared, how it is initialized, how it is input from the keyboard, what are the basic operation you can do on the 2D array, how array are passed into function by call by value and call by reference. You know what is an array? Array is a continuous memory location. Whether it is 1D array or it is 2D array, in memory, it is always stored in a continuous format. In 1D array and 2D array, the storage is like same. Because in 2D array, you can differ it in making by group of rows and columns. Otherwise, in memory, a compiler will store in a continuous like 1D array. So now what is 2D array? A 2D array is like a table or a matrix which has a table is made up of rows and columns. So in 2D array, it is stored like a table or matrix which has rows and columns. But in memory, it does not matter whether it is 1D or 2D, it is always stored in a continuous format. So in 1D array, in the last session you had seen it is stored in memory in a linear or sequential manner. So in 2D array, in 1D array, we declared we declare one dimension or one subscript. By using subscript, you can access the value of an array. In 2D array, we instead of one subscript, we declare two subscripts. First subscript represents rows and second subscript represents column. Like in this slides, you see it is A1, 2. What does it mean? The first subscript represents row and the second subscript represents column. It means there is one row and two column. Means 1 into 2. Maximum value you can store 2. There is only one row and in one row there are two columns. In the same way, we can store 2D array, but the difference is that 1D array, in 1D array, we store the data. In 1D array, it is a linear, but 2D array is not a linear. So you can say 2D array in C is an array of arrays. Why array of arrays? Because it is represented by two subscripts. So if you declare 2D array by 2 subscript, it means even you can identify whether it is 1D array or 2D array. If there is one subscript, one index, it means 1D array. If there are two index, it means 2D array. So how it is represented? See, in 2D array, we use two subscript. So 2D array divided into rows and column. Like in this slide, there are three rows. And array always begins with zero, like whether it is 1D array or 2D array. The first row will be represented by zero. First column will be represented by zero. Second column, second row would be one, and column would be one, and third row would be two, and third column would be two. We'll begin with the two, because array index always begins from zero. I hope you have understand how 2D array are declared, how it is initialized, how 2D array are declared, and what are the two subscript for, what is the meaning of two subscript we use in array. First subscript represents rows and second subscript represent columns. So syntax for 2D array is data type, array name, and size 1, size 2. Here X represents data type. It could be int, float, char, and this is array name. X represents number of rows in the matrix or table, and Y represents number of columns in the matrix or table. Like in this example, it is int, data type is int, variable name is myArray, and first subscript represents row. There are 5 rows and 3 columns. Maximum value you can store 5 into 3, 15 element you can store it. In first row, maximum there are 5 rows and maximum there are 3 columns. So 5 into 3, 15 elements you can store it. Like this way. This is my array, this is variable. This hold first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. First row is represented by 0, second 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And here column, there are 3 columns. The first column is represented by 0 index, and second column is by 1, and third column is by 2. In 2D array, how it is declared, data type, variable name, and then size 1, size 2. Size 1 represents number of rows, size 2 represents number of columns. So this is num. Num is array variable of data type int, holds 10 rows, 5 columns. So here int specify the data stored in the array will be of int type. Num is a variable name under which all the data is stored. 10 represents rows of the array, 5 represents number of column of the array. Basically, again, when you declare an array, compiler reserves that much memory allocation for the specification of data type of an array. So it is, you can say again, like 1D array, it is a static memory allocation. Static memory allocation means when you declare the statement, compiler reserve that much space for that array variable. So 10 into 5 means maximum you can store 50 elements, 50 number of elements. Now size, it depends on basically, generally int takes 2 bytes. So how much space, if int takes 2 bytes, so how much space it will hold? 50 into 200 bytes. Or if in some system, if it takes, if it shows you 4 bytes, then 4 into 50, it will store 200 bytes. So size of array, number of element, and size of data type. So this way, memory address or memory calculation is done. There are different ways a 2D array can be initialized. One is list and another is loop. Now, how 2D arrays initialized by a list? So we can initialize 2D array in C by using initializer list. How? See, this is int. X is int x 3, 4 means there are 3 rows, 4 columns. Each row must hold 4 columns. So total value would be 12. Like you start from 0 and the last would be 11. So what does it mean? It means first row, first column, first row, second column, first row, third column, first row, fourth column. So 0 to 4 will be taken by the first row. 5, 6, 7, 8 would be taken by 0, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3. These 4 elements would be taken by the first row. 4, 5, 6, 7 would be taken by a second row. 8, 9, 10, 11 would be taken by a third row. So you can group them in a parenthesis and separate with them. So you can also declare like in this way also, like this way. You group them in curly braces by row wise and then separate by a comma. So what does it mean? It means this is first row, this is second row, this is third row. In first row, the values are 0, 1, 2, 3. In the second row, the values are 4, 5, 6, 7. In the third row, values are 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 2 ways. It is your choice. You initialize with them continuously, separating with comma, or you group them or separate via commas. Means you can represent each row individually. So always always a better practice. It's always a good way to represent to the array like this way. As you know, in memory, arrays are contiguous memory location and array store same data type. The memory locations are allocated consecutively and each element of the array is stored in a specific index within the block of memory. So in this initialization, you are using nested braces within braces. So this inner braces represents row and the external represents the 2D array. So basically the purpose to represent the 2D array like this way, it is easy to understand. How 2D array are initialized. So one is by a list method and second is by a loop. By using loop, you can also initialize 2D array also. How? Say, int, this is X is an array of 2D where in X it holds 3 rows and 4 columns. Now you want to initialize a integer data type of this array. So for a 2D array, we use nested loop, one for row and another for column. This outer loop represents row and this inner loop represents column. So see, for row, the condition will be I less than 3 because array always begin with 0. The last would be size -1, 3 -1, 2. And same here, column and array begins with 0. The last would be the size -1, 4 -1, 3. So here x of ij, I for row, j for column. If you want to initialize like 0, here I is 0, column is 0. So whatever you want to give the value, you can write down here like here. You can after assignment statement, whatever you want to give the expression, you can give after equal assignment operator. So this is the way how 2D array are initialized by using loop. So far you have seen how 2D array are declared and how it is initialized. 2D array, you know how it is declared, data type, variable name, size 1, size 2. Data type, it could be anything in float, char, etc. Then variable name, it could be any name, whatever you like it, you want to give it. And then first subscript represent row and second represent column. And these array indexes array indices begin with 0. Either, whether it is row or column, it always begins with 0. So that's why when we put a loop, we always test the condition less than, not equal, because if you check equal, then array size would be, then the loop would be beyond the array size and it will give you exception, abnormal error. So there are two ways to initialize an array. One is you declare it and initialize with them in curly braces. And second is by using loop, you can initialize it like this way. Now, how 2D array are traversed or accessed. So, see, you know, 2D array is represented by array name, row, and column. I represent row index, J represent column index. So, what does it mean if I say int x to 1? What does it mean? It means 2 means third row, 1 means second column. Okay? So the above example represents the elements present in the third row and second column. You know, the array index would be, if the size is n, array index would be 0 to n minus 1. If the size of column is m, array index would be 0 to m minus 1. Whether it is in 2D array, whether you want to input it, you initialize it, you want to traverse it, you need two loops, one for row and another for column. And you can traverse 2D array by two ways. One is row measure order and another is column measure order. Row measure order and column measure order. So row means it would be printing like, see, the example of row measure traversal. In row measure traversal means means accessing the element of array by iterating over the rows first and then iterating over the column. Means row loop means outer loop would represent row and the inner loop would represent column. To see the example how 2D array is traversed by row measure order. To see, this is in matrix 3, 4. This is an example of 2D array which represents there are 3 rows, 4 columns of data type int. So here we have initialized first row by 1, 2, 3, 4, second row by 5, 6, 7, 8, third row by 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, how it is printed by using row measure order. So first, outer loop is for row. There are 3 rows. So start from 0 to less than 3. And inside outer loop, there is inner loop that represents column. Start from 0 to less than 4. Now you say printf. The variable name is matrix, say ij. So this would print like this way, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next row would be 5, 6, 7, 8. And third row would be 9, 10, 11, 12. I will show you how metrics are initialized and represented in practical session by row measure order and column measure order. So in the see here you have here if we would have put a new line slash n after first row, then the next row would come in the second row and the third row would come in third row. By row measure order, the data would be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then second row would be 5, 6, 7, 8, and the third row would be 9, 10, 11, 12. The similar way we can traverse to 2D array by column measure order also. In column measure, traversal of 2D array means accessing the element of array by iterating over the column first and then iterating over the rows. In row measure order, first we iterate row and then we iterate column. But in column measure order, the process would be reverse. First we iterate column, and inside outer loop of column, inside loop in inner loop would be row. Just the reverse process here. If array are initialized like this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the first row, in the second row, in the third row, what would be the output? If I say for column order, for column measure order, column measure traversal, the outer loop would represent column. Here there are 4 columns, so this J represents 4 column. And inside the outer loop, there would be inner loop I, and there are 3 rows. And you would print like this way. So what would be output? The first 5, 9, like this way. It will print it like this way. So 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 10, 3, 7, 11, 4, 8, 12. In column measure order, we again same way, we iterate over the column first. So the output of the program would be different. What we would get if we traverse the array in row measure order. So in row measure order, we will get the result in row measure order, and in column measure traversal, we would get the result in different way in column measure order. Whatever, whether it is a row measure order or column measure order, you have to use nested loop for 2D array. Generally, we represent 2D array by row measure order. To see in the program, there is I and J declaration of int data type, and there is a declaration of array variable of int data type. There are 4 rows, 3 columns, and the array is initialized like this way. Now there would be 2 loops. One is outer loop for row and another is inner loop for chain. And you can say even you can print the index of array also. Now in the subscript you can say %3 %d, and this would represent I for row and J for column, and array of ij would represent these values like 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 5, 6. See, you have written here /n, so that answer would not be in the tabular form. So after every print statement, the cursor will come in the next line. So that's why the answer would be like this way: 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Now next to see the example how values are inserted into the array. So in the main program, you will declare 2D array, let it be 3 rows, 3 columns, and there are 2 variables, I and j, I for row and j for column. So here you are asking the user enter the element for matrix. So first you have put a for loop This is an outer loop for this loop represents number of rows, and out for outer loop you have an inner loop inside it. J0, J less than 3, this represents column, and you are asking the user, please enter the value from the input keyboard. So here you have used scanner function. Scanner function means you are inputting the value from the keyboard, and whatever you give the value, that value would be stored in array of 3 rows, 3 columns. And the same way you can traverse it as you have seen in the previous example. Use 2 loop, one for outer loop for rows and another is inner loop for column, and you can see the result of matrix. Next, now you can see there are various operations you can put into the array, like update. You can update the array, means you want to update any value, you can update it, and you can delete any element from the array. To see example of updating the 2D array. So this is again you have declared a variable of array. There are 3 rows, 3 columns, and there are 2 variables, one for row and another for column. And you have declared a variable num, a temporary variable which you want to update it. Now you are asking the user to enter the value. So here first you are inputting the value in in array of 3 rows, 3 columns by using scanner function. Now you want to print it, so you again use I and J loop for printing. Now whatever you want to update the value, ask the user, so please enter the location in a matrix where you want to update the value. So see here, inputting the location for row and column position. Now ask the user, enter the value to be updated, to be replaced. So yeah, here you are entering, you are storing the value in a num variable. Now say array, whatever the location you have entered it, so you want to update it, you assign it. Update means you assign it. Array of ij equal to num means you are replacing it, the value. So after update, you want to see the result, you traverse iterate the nested loop and see the result. Here you are entering the location in the matrix and you have replaced the value 70. The previous value, in the previous value, it was 77. Instead of 77, you have changed 70. So it comes 70. The same way how elements are deleted into the array. Into the array. So again, there is a variable B which represents 2 rows, 3 columns. Again, ij, num, these are the variable for rows and the value you want to delete it. And here is a variable x. So there are 2 rows, so outer loop would be less than 2, and there are 3 columns, so inner loop would be less than 3. First, you enter the value by using scanner, and after that, if you want to whatever you want to delete the value, enter the value to be deleted. So you are storing it in a variable x. Now now apply outer loop for row and check the position, enter the and check the position. If you match, if you match the value, then check for column. Then check for column. And here row would be, if it would be less than, then it would be printed. Otherwise, row would be incremented. And if this condition does not match, then you comes in the else part. And here again, you are printing the column position. Like in this example, see, there are 6 values. So you have entered the position of row. Let it be in X. X is holding the position of row. Let it be 1. So in one first row, you have hold the value 1, 2, 3. Whatever you want to delete it, so you have shown 1, 2, 3. Like this loop for column J0, J less than 3, this will print the entire row. See, array is a statical memory location. In memory, you cannot delete it. You can show how deletion works. You can show by a logical way, by coding. But in memory, array is a static memory location. The value would not be erased. This is the only way how you can represent, you can give a logical concept how array are deleted. You have seen how printf and scanf works for 1D array also. In the last session, I hope you must have understood 1D array, how it is input. For 1D array, you need only one loop because 1D arrays are linear array and you need, and there is one subscript, so you need only a single loop. So there are the size of array is 5. So start a loop from 0 until less than 5. Ask the user input the value from the keyboard by using scanf function. Now you want to see the result, whatever you have entered it, again use a loop and use a printf statement. So say, see, if you have entered 57914, so then it would print 57914. Now see, this is the concept how array are, how 1D array, 2D array are declared, initialized, traverse, iterate in 1D array, loop in 2D array. Now see how array are passed into function. So there are 2 ways to pass array into function. One is call by value and another is call by reference. Call by value means you are passing a value. Call by reference means you are using the concept of pointer, means you are passing the address of a variable. So in function, what is function? Why do we need a function? Function is a subprogram. UNOS is a modular structured procedural programming language. So we can divide a task into module or procedures or functions. Basically, why do we use function? One purpose is for reusability and another is maintenance is easier and error detection is also easy to handle it. If we find an error, we can easily handle it. So in function you can invoke by call by value or call by reference. A function could be with parameter or without parameter. If you pass parameter into a function, they are called actual parameter. And in the code function, they are called dummy or copy parameter. In the actual, they are called formal arguments. You can pass array into a function as an argument. There are different ways. One is if you pass an array into a function, so there are different ways. One is array with unspecified size. So in the formal parameter, you can pass array without declaring its size. Like this way, void is the return type of function. If function is not returning anything, the data type would be void. Access is the name of function. Here you are passing in the formal parameter, you have this is the called function, this is the formal. In the when you call a function, and when you pass a parameter, they are called actual parameter, and in called function, they are called formal or dummy parameter. So this is the return type. This is name of function. Here you have declared num is of an integer data type, and here you are not mentioning the size. So without mentioning the size, you can also pass array. And another approach is you can mention the size of array. Like this way, void access is the name of function, and here num is an integer array of size is 5. So there are sizes optional, whether you pass it or whether you declare it or not. So it won't give you an error. If you do not specify, or either if you don't specify or you specify it, it won't give you error. Both are the correct ways. And third is by using pointer. A pointer. What is pointer? Pointer is a variable. Pointer is a variable that stores the address of another variable. By using pointer indirectly, you can access the value of a variable. So if you are using pointer, for pointer we use asterisk operator, this star operator. This is called asterisk operator. This is pointer operator. Pointer operator. So what does it mean if you say star num1? It means num1 is a pointer variable that point to element of a specified memory location of a array variable. As I have told you, there are various ways to pass array into a function. So there are two ways. One is by call by value and another is call by reference. By value means it is a direct process in which you pass the array element directly to the function. By reference means you are using the concept of pointer. So that pointer variable will be storing the address of a specified memory location. Generally, if you are passing an array, so it stores the base address of array. Base address means the first location of array variable. So 2D array, how 2D array is passed into a function. See, you have first you understand what is the concept of pointer. What is pointer? So pointer is a variable that stores the address of another variable. How pointer are declared? It is declared data type, star variable, and then variable name. So data type means it could be int, float, char, star means a star or asterisk operator. It represents a pointer variable. So what does it mean when you say int star j? It means j is a pointer variable which will point to int data type. Point to int data type means if j is an integer pointer, it can store the address of only int data type. It cannot store the address of any other data type like float, char. So that would be incompatible. So what does it mean if you say int star j? It means j is a pointer variable which point to int data type. Point to int data type means it can store the address of only integer data type. And here I've used the double asterisk also. What does it mean? It means pointer to pointer. Pointer to pointer. So whenever you declare a pointer, you cannot use it until you assign the address of a same data type variable. So here I have declared star j star star k. So here there is a variable I is of integer type. Initially it holds the value 5. So j is a pointer variable which will point to int data type here. Let the j storing the address of I. K pointer to pointer, it means this pointer variable will store the address of another pointer variable. That's why it is called pointer to pointer. A pointer store the address of variable, pointer to pointer store a pointer variable. Pointer to pointer means a pointer variable will store the address of another pointer. So that's why k will be storing the address of j. J is itself a pointer variable. So here I have given a statement. If you want to retrieve the address memory location of variable I, j, k, so in the printf statement, you can use address is a special way to print on the monitor. Either you can use the percentage u or percentage x. Percentage u, like for integer, you use percentage d in the format specifier. For float, you use percentage f. For character, percentage c. For memory location, if you want to see what is the address of variable ijk, for address variable, for address, if you want to see the address of a variable, you can use format specifier percentage u. You cannot use percentage d because address is an unsigned number. So you have to use either percentage u or you will use percentage x also. And if you want to see here, I have given a statement, the value of I. What is the value of I? It will show you the result 5. Here I have said, here I have written star j's. Means, what does it mean? This is a j is a pointer variable. Here, what it represents? Value of j. Now, what is value of j? J is storing the address of I. And what is the address of I holding? 5. So, in direct way, j is accessing the value of I. So here it also print 5. Now pointer to pointer k, double star k, pointer to pointer k. What does it mean? This is means k is holding the address of j and j is holding the address of I. And what the I is holding? 5. So in direct way, you can access the value of I by, if you want to access it by a k, so k will store the address j, j is storing the address of I, and I is 5. So in direct way, you can access the value of I also. So here you want to see the memory location of ijk. So in the printf statement, I have used ampersand operator. So far you have not seen you are using ampersand operator, address operator in the printf statement. You use the scanf statement, but you never use in printing the value of variable. But whenever you want to print the memory location of variable, you have used ampersand operator. So here you are using percentage u, but here you are not using ampersand operator. What does it mean? It means j is holding the address of I. Address cannot be integer value, so this will print the address of I. K is holding the address of j. So k is holding the address of j. Address is not an integer number; it is unsigned number. So that's why we have used here percentage u. So you have seen the array can be used as a constant pointer. Array is a constant pointer. You can use array as a constant pointer. How? See here, I have declared a variable integer data type of a holding the value of 5. So there are 5 elements. So first, you can iterate you can print an array by using a loop. It is a 1D array, so you need a single loop. So here you are printing the value of array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to print it by a pointer, array itself is a constant pointer. Why? Because array always begins with 0. So array itself store the array itself store the address of base location. So that's why the variable which hold the address is called a pointer. So array itself hold the address of base location means 0 location. So that's why array is called a pointer. So the same value, if you want to print it, you can print it the value of array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by using star a plus I. What does it mean? This means star is a pointer variable. This means value at location A0, A1, A2, A3. This what does this A represent? This represent and percent of A0 means base address. When I is 0, base address plus 0 means base address. Value at base address is 1. When I become 1, so A would be a constant. A will always represent and percent of A0 means base location. Base location plus 1, it doesn't mean you're adding the value of 1. It means from it is a second location from base location. So the second value at second location would be 2. Now when I becomes 2, so A plus 2, what does it mean? This means A represent base address. Base address is always a constant pointer. So that's why array is called a constant pointer. This would represent value 3. And when I becomes 3, so this represents value 4. And when I become 4, A plus 4, value at A4, this represents 5. So there are two ways to represent the value of array. One is simple, you simply directly use array, or another way is you can use a pointer concept also. Array, is a constant pointer. Why? Because array always store the address of base location. So that's why they are called constant pointer. So this name of array, variable of array, always represents a base location, means ampersand of A0. In the same way, 2D array, there is a variable mat, it represents 3 row, 3 column, and you have initialized it. So one approach is you iterate nested loop I and j and print the value. And another way, how 2D array is represented as a pointer. Here, variable is mat. So as you have seen in the first D array, a plus I, and the pointer value was outside the parenthesis because it is a 2D. So we will use 2 stars, 2 asterisk operator, one for row and another for column. So this 2D array is represented in the form of pointer like this way. Mat is a variable. So mat plus I, this represents row, plus j, this represents column, and star represents value at row and column. See, now the example how array is passed into a function called by value. So here you have declared a function min array and data type is int, and here in the copy parameter what it represents, array, a variable array of data type int. This size is not mentioned, as I have told you, size is optional here. And this is the size. Size means what is the size of an array. So if you want to find the minimum value from an array, so this is the logic. You are taking a variable min, you are assigning with the initializing with the first value, and then you are comparing this min value from the entire array, whatever you find it, so you store it over there. And once the loop is over, you have used return type integer data type. So that's why you have used return statement. So after executing this loop, and the result will be stored in the min variable, and this value will be returned by a return statement to a calling function. So this is in function we have 3 statements. One is declaration of function. They are called function prototypes. And another is calling Calling function is always inside the main. And third is fold function. Fold function is always outside the main. So this is outside the main. So how function are declared? Return type, function name, and the argument. If function is not returning anything, then you don't use return statement. If function is returning anything, use return statement. In the main, you have declared a variable I main. Here, this is number array, and you have initialized with these values, and you're passing, you're calling. This is the calling. This is you are calling a function. This invoking a function. Invoking a function is always declared inside the main. So, since you are returning a value, by a return statement. So when the return statement, after executing the return statement, the value will be returned to a variable main. So here the minimum value is printed in the main. So you have invoke a function min array. So you are passing an array. Array name is number and its size is 6. So this is calling in the main. You are calling a function. Outside the main, it is a called function. It is a called function. And this is the beginning of the function. And this is the end of the function. And this is inside code of the function. So call by reference, you can see call by reference. So here it is a display function. And it is not returning anything. So that's why you have written it void. This is called function. And this is pointer variable. This pointer variable will be holding the address of base location of an array. And this is size of array. So you can iterate the loop and you can print the entire array. How? First, you are using a loop for I0, I less than n. And here you are saying printf percentage d star a. Star means value at a. A is holding the address of base location. But first it will print only the value at base location. If you want to print the entire array, as loop is incremented, pointer should also be incremented. How pointer is incremented? Pointer is incremented by using plus plus operator. So this is the way. Here you are passing call by reference. This is the example of call by reference. In call by reference, we are passing the address, location, base address of a array. So here you are passing the address and then size of array. So this, since you are passing the base address, so this base address will be storing as a pointer variable, and the size will be stored in an. So in this way, you can print the entire array. This is the example of 2D array into a function. Here you have declared a function, return type is void, display int, and there are two subscripts. First subscript is optional, you can skip it, but the second index you cannot, second subscript, the size of second subscript you cannot skip it, it is must. Or either if you want to mention it, the size of array in both the script, in the both subscript you can give it, you can mention it. But if you want to drop, so only you can drop it in the first subscript, but the second subscript size is must. So here you have a num2D array. There are 2 rows, 2 columns. So you are using I and j loop. You are inputting the value. Then you are calling the function display. You want to iterate a loop, and you want to print the entire array of 2 by 2. So you are calling the function display. The display is the function name, and you are passing the entire array. This is calling invoking a function. Invoking is always done inside the main, and invoke is always done outside the main. So this is return type is void, function name is display, and this is 2D array. So here you can print the 2D array by using I and j loop. There are 2 rows, 2 columns, so you can print the entire array. So the answer would be like this way. And the last example, how 2D array is call by reference. So here you are passing the base address of zeroth location. How? So this is 2D array call by reference. Return type is void. Function name is print. Since this is 2D array. So in 1D array we use one asterisk. In 2D array we use double asterisk pointer of pointer. And then there are two variables. One is row and another is column. First represents size of row and another represents size of column. You can iterate it by using loop let for I0, I less than row, and I plus plus for J0, J less than column, and you are printing the entire array. How like 2D array are passed or invoked call by reference. This is the main. In main, you have a row variable, column variable, and I and J. First, you are asking the user enter number of rows and enter number of columns. So here you are invoking a function. Here you are using a malloc function also. Malloc is used for dynamic memory allocation. When you use the concept of pointer, you want to allocate the size of number of rows. So how it is done? Malloc, MALLOC, for memory memory allocation function. You are assigning memory for number of rows, and for number of rows you are initializing the value. So similar way you can assign for column also. Now you are inputting the values. First, you create the dynamic memory, then you are storing the value in array variable. So here you are calling a function print and passing array. What here array represents base location of 2D array, and this is row, this is column. Here you have entered number of rows 2, number of column 3, then the array number of element would be 8. So here you are assigning the value 5, 1, 2, 1, 9, 0, and so on. You see in the function you have seen how functions are declared, how functions are invoked. What does it mean calling a function called by a function? In calling a function, if you are passing an entire array into a function, then array name and size is required in 1D array. In 2D array, you can pass the entire array at a time. For size of row is optional, but column is must, or you can declare the size also. And array are accessed by index or subscript or index always begin with the 0, and the last would be the size -1. If you have declared an array of size 10, the last location would be 9. So these are the rules, as I have already told you, how 1D array are passed into a function, how 2D array are passed into a function. How array 1D, 2D array are passed into a function. I hope you must have understood what is 1D array, what is 2D array, how 2D array are passed into a function, call by value, call by reference. In 2D array, you can do lot of operation on 2D array, like you can make a matrix, you can do add, multiplication, subtraction operation on the matrix, you can add two matrix, subtract, multiply it, and how 1D, 2D array are passed into a functions. Now, if anyone has problem regarding today's session, so they can ask. Anyone had problem regarding today's session? If anyone has not understood what is 2D array, how array are passed, 1D or 2D array are passed into a function, although I will give you an example in practical sessions, but if there is any problem, So regarding today's session, you can ask. Yes, you can use array as a pointer. Array is a constant pointer because array itself store the address of base location. The other location of array, you can access it easily because array is a continuous memory location. If you know the zero index, you can access the other element because array store continuously memory locations. Anyone has a doubt? I hope array, you must have understood what is 1D array, what is 2D array. Double star means pointer to pointer. When a pointer variable store the address of another pointer variable, it becomes pointer to pointer. Double star means pointer to pointer. When a pointer variable store the address of another pointer variable, it is called pointer to pointer. For pointer to pointer, we use double asterisk or double star. Any doubt? Any doubt regarding today's sessions? Okay, then let us end the session to the another session for practical class. It will begin at 1:50. Let us connect at 1:50.